Yokoso, 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 arigato gozaimasu. I hope you are all good. I hope you are well, of course. Welcome to episode 68 of the Stadia Monday Night Chat with me, of course, Clive Illenden, your host and guide for all things Stadia this week. And I know I say it every week, but boy, what a week it has been. Some real exciting news coming out of Stadia from last week. We'll be unpacking all of that. Of course we will. And doing a deep dive into all of that. And of course, the straight out the oven, so hot, it's use your oven gloves news of a brand new free-to-play first-person shooter coming out of Ubisoft, coming to Stadia. It's been crying out for a first-person shooter or a free-to-play shooter, and well, we're getting one, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting one, but before all that, ladies and gentlemen, let's quickly say hello to the chat, and all of that. Hello, chat. I hope you're well. Remember, everybody, hit the likes while you're there. That all helps, of course. And if you are new, as I always say, whether you're watching this live or not, please subscribe. It is very much appreciated. Thank you very much. Anyway, let's have a look at chat, see who's in there. Sednar was straight in there. Hello, Sednar. How are you? Lovely to see you. Hi there. You get a special bit of attention being first in there. So there we go. Halusko, greetings. Smash that like button, as I said. Yeah. He's feeling pretty excited about the championship, the Summer Community Championship. More on that later, of course. The lovely Wolock. Always a nice word for everybody. Welcome, Wolock. Hello. Liam, how are you? Sounds of Stadia. Shouldn't you be playing football, or is it too hot? Anyway, lovely to see you here live in the chat. Stelios, of course. Lloyd, my man, how are you? Welcome. Victor. Victor's in the chat. And now your mama knows. Anthony, welcome, Anthony. Welcome. Roger, and all that. And everybody else who's going to be joining, no doubt, very shortly. First of all, of course, let me know what games you've been playing. Put it in the chat. All of that. Always appreciated. Now, as for me, I continue to play Red Dead Redemption. Lord Kensal is continuing to stream Red Dead Redemption 2 every Tuesday, 9 p.m. UK time. But I've also been playing a lot of Hitman recently, Kel Surprise, because, of course, the Summer Community Championship and the week one of the Summer Community Championship is now complete. And, of course, week one was the Hitman level, which I kind of created. I say created. It's existing level. I just kind of put in a few goodies in there, like the rubber duck. And then the task was basically to do the mission as quick as you can and ideally kill both targets with a single rubber duck, which, I'll be honest, in my naivety and not being a Hitman speedrunner or anything like that, I thought was virtually impossible. I tested it out. There was a point system. And you get maximum of 100 points. Do it as fast as you can. I tested it out. Took me over half an hour and got 20 points. If we just check out the leaderboard to see some amazing runs here. Look at this. 100 points, maximum points. 3 minutes 40. 3 minutes 40 from Solder Q 35 there. And then Papa Levy, that's Eli. Of course, we know Eli is a speedrunner. He tried so hard to get Solder Q that everything just fell in place. It was a perfect run. I think it was probably the first run he did. He certainly got like a 340 something on his first run. And I know Eli tried so hard to get close, but everything just had to be perfect and fall into place. But it was so good watching people try. The reason it took me so long initially is because I didn't have any strat. And it just so happens that Solder 35, Soldier Q35 went first. He had the strat, and basically everybody sort of copied it. Eli had his slight variation on it, but then he started following that strat, and it became like a downhill ski race. It was like Soldier Q35 had set that premium time and full marks, no slaloms down, like a big downhill slalom, no what they call posts, fences, anyway, none of them down. 3 minutes 40 was posted, and it was like watching everybody to see if they could surpass that time, and nobody did by the end of the week. But really great to see, and really great to see the content, the creator community commentating on these. It's such a good format. It's such a good format. And of course, I've also been playing a little bit of Pixel Junk Raiders. Now, the reason for that, it's the next challenge. I saw Halusku saying that Pixel Junk Raiders was one of his favorite games earlier in the chat. Anyway, so, completely different. And that's what we've tried to do. Completely different from the skill set you need for Hitman. And I'll be talking about it all a bit later. But if you go to stadiahunters.com, if you're not already signed up, it's not too late. It's $1,000 on the line for the grand winner over these 4 weeks. There's $100 for the winner of each week. So Solder Q35 will get it. So yeah, make sure that you sign up to all of that over at stadiahunters.com. I'll talk more about Pixel Junk Raiders and the challenge for week 2 a little bit later. Yeah, but Solder Q did an amazing run. And I know, Eli, you saw his times just come down and down as he scraped seconds off. But it just had to be perfect. Gates, thank you. Yes, the slalom gates. That's the word I was looking for. Dave, you're always there with the answers when my brain goes dead. Very much appreciated. Anyway, next week, ladies and gentlemen, this week, so the week's challenge is Pixel Junk Raiders, and I'll talk a little bit more about that, but definitely check out stadiahunters.com. There is the Summer Community Championship YouTube channel, and I think we'll be posting some of the runs on there and stuff, so you can check them out. Well, worth it. But as I say, more on that later, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a lot to talk about. So shall we get on, ladies and gentlemen? Shall we get on with the main news? Why not? So, ladies and gentlemen, I guess this is what it feels like, ladies and gentlemen. This is what it feels like to have a massive free-to-play first-person shooter get announced, and you see the Stadia logo on that final page. Yes. Massive free-to-play first-person shooter franchise, Stadia. Yes, people. Yes, people. Yes, my Stadia best buddies, Ubisoft, is launching a brand new free-to-play, ladies and gentlemen. A brand new free-to-play first-person shooter. Let's have a look at this while I talk over it. So this is basically a sort of 6x6 team-based shooter. Smacks of sort of Overwatch to it, but without the cartoony elements. I saw Sonny talking about that, but as well, I thought it's got that kind of Overwatch feel. The characters have sort of ultimates and ultras. What they call them ultras here, but like ultimate skills and stuff you can build up, and you can dress out your characters. We don't know when the launch date is. There's going to be an initial testing phase, which is initially only open to PC players and stuff like that. But let me know in the chat what you think about it. But I think it's really exciting, as I say, that we've been calling out, a lot of the community have been calling out, we need a Call of Duty, we need a Valorant or whatever, an Overwatch, something like that. Well, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. This is very Valorant, Overwatch feel to it. But the focus here is based on, real good, skillful gunplay, They describe it as realistic gunplay, team dynamics, roles, ultras, these factions here that you just saw there, very much all based on Tom Clancy factions from various games. As I said, it's a game that I think Stadia really, really needs. And it's sort of draped in Tom Clancy folklore and stuff and embedded in the Tom Clancy universe. So really, really exciting. They state that they are a shooter first, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, they are a shooter first, which is very, very encouraging. It looks like that they are focusing on that satisfying gunplay, quick deaths. I hate it takes ages to kill someone, you know, and then you get shot and you die in one bullet. Story of my life. So satisfying, you know, realistic gunplay, satisfying, quick deaths, lots of action, lots of personalization, lots of, there's going to be a roadmaps of maps. So there's going to be about 10 maps and stuff. In fact, why don't we just look in a bit more detail what it says on the main website all about it. Close that down. Just check out on the main website. Here we are. So you can sign up now for the beta if you're a PC player. So here we go. Tom Clancy's sXDefiant, free-to-play, fast-paced arena shooter that combines intense gunplay, personalized loadout, specialized factions as teams of gunfighters called Defiants battle for domination. There's a sort of element of Apex there as well, but Apex draws from Overwatch with the characters and the skill sets and stuff like that, except Apex is a battle royale. This is a team-based shooter one. But absolutely, Project Storm saying absolutely ready for it. I know you are. I'm ready for. I'm ready with you. I'm ready with you with it when it comes up. No worries about that. So personalized play style, choose your faction, traits, abilities, ultras. I love a bit of ultras. Select an arsenal of primary and secondary weapons. So very much of the similar tropes that we've seen, as I say, in games like Overwatch and Valorant and Call of Duty and stuff like that. So you choose a primary weapon, secondary weapon, attachments, a device to complete your loadout. That'll be your specialist ultra, no doubt. Tweak it on the fly so you can change it as you go. You don't have to wait each time you sort of start a game. And adapt to an ever-changing battlefield. So it looks like they're sort of taking a lot of well-renowned sort of, what's the word? Tropes, we'd say in film criticism, from other games like this, but then adding a bit of a twist to it. So the battles, the competitions are basically 6x6 arena and linear game modes, such as domination, and escort. So again, like Overwatch, there's a sort of a mix of domination and escort in Overwatch. I used to love Overwatch. I was never very good at it, but I've got thousands of hours in it. Thousands of hours in Overwatch. My kids are so much better than I was at it, but I love playing it. It's very satisfying. So I'm really excited about this. A large pool of uniquely designed maps in rotation, and no two matches will feel the same. Diverse faction of Defiance. So, how can I play? Well, it's not fully live yet, they say here, but you can register. A closed test begins August the 5th for PC players in the US and Canada only. More tests coming soon, so I think it will open up for consoles. Unlikely to open up for cloud because it's coming to Luna and Stadia, because Ubisoft are best mates with Luna and Stadia. We know that, but that's fine. I'm fine with that, and I understand that. It makes sense to me. You wouldn't necessarily have it testing in Stadia, so you know that's fine. I'd rather play the finished game. There will be more tests, and here we are, just to confirm everybody that I'm not making it up. Google Stadia, and according to Polygon.com, there will be crossplay, which you'd expect. I'd find it hard to believe that they wouldn't bring crossplay to a first-person shooter, free-to-play, all of that. It would make absolutely no sense. So, according to Polygon, Ubisoft have told them it will have crossplay. Exactly what form that crossplay is, I'm not sure. And I did see, shout out to MM2K on Stadia Dosage, say that the engine is based on the Snowdrop engine. Snowdrop engine, of course, is the engine that brought us probably one of the best looking games and smooth playing games on Stadia, Division 2. So it bodes well, ladies and gentlemen. That bodes well to me. So very, very exciting. Let me know in the chat what you think about it. But yeah, it was so satisfying. I mean, it was a chance, but that they were going to, that it would be coming to Stadia. But we know the history of these big announcements, AAA first, especially free to play ones like this, and Hyperscape. Remember that? Remember Hyperscape from Ubisoft? Shh, don't mention Hyperscape. What happened to that? That didn't come to Stadia. Maybe it was too early. But anyway. And now your mum and O says, yeah, Duncan looked it up. Well, that's good. And it will have crossplay. Well, we heard it from Polygon. And, so I'll go with that. We don't need Duncan to tell us, Anyway, so very, very exciting. Dave Widnall says, how will free-to-play work in Luna? Good question. Maybe they'll just use it as not a Trojan horse, sort of like like a lost leader to get people in. Maybe that's how they'll do it. Interesting. Good shout, though, Dave, of course. Good shout. Yeah. Anyway, so we have crossplay on Division 2 with PC. We have crossplay on Rainbow Six Siege and all of that. So, yeah, watch this space, ladies and gentlemen, for more details. I'm super excited about it. Let me know what you think about it. Be interested to know. But exciting times, ladies and gentlemen. Exciting times. Right. Shall we do the Google for Games Developer Conference? Because this is what I spent most of the day writing up. I was not expecting the excitement of having to talk about a free-to-play, team-based shooter coming to Ubisoft. And I'm very excited that that did interrupt my flow this evening. So there we go. But anyway, what we're really here to talk about is the Games for Google, or the Google for Games Developer Conference, because there's a lot to unpack, ladies and gentlemen. So without further ado, why don't we just crack on? I just want to take everybody back now, just back a bit. Going back in time, ladies and gentlemen, back in time to February. Remember February? And, I have to bring it up, the closure of Stadia Games and Entertainment. And I will be coming back to that a little bit later as well, actually. But I just want to quote something before we delve in to the what came out last week from Stadia Talk to the developers and publishers. So this is a quote from Phil Harrison in his sort of statement about closing down Stadia Games and Entertainment back in February. Stadia's dead. It'll be dead by 6 months. Yeah, right. Right. Good one. Yeah, not a good look. Anyway, in 2001, this is the quote I'm looking about now. This is the quote. In 2021, we're expanding our efforts to help game developers and publishers take advantage of our platform. I should read that again. Take advantage of our platform technology and deliver games directly to their players. Let's just read that very quickly again so you've got it, yeah? So that, for those at the back, as they say, yeah? In 2021, we're expanding our efforts to help game developers and publishers take advantage of our platform technology and deliver games directly to their players. That is what Phil Harrison said in his statement on closing of Stadia Games and Entertainment. They very clearly, and I said it back then, they very clearly said, this is where we're going. We have decided it's too risky to do first party games that might not come off and aren't going to come off for too 2 to 3 years. We're going to concentrate in the near future on getting the games on Stadia, working close with our partners. And they've been doing that, and we've seen the big AAA games come all this year, but they've taken feedback from the developers and publishers, and they've worked. How can they achieve this? And now it's clear how they're going to be achieving and what they've been working on and all of that. So ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Let me just talk about delivering the vision. So they basically went through the history of Stadia over 2020. Yeah. All the kind of various key points from, in fact, November 19 from launch all through 2020. And it's interesting that they use the word delivering the vision. Yeah, delivering the vision. Because Stadia has always been about a journey. When they first announced Stadia back in March 2019, they talked about a vision and how they would deliver that vision over time. Not deliver that vision on November 2019. This is an ongoing journey. And like the founding fathers, the founders are part of that journey to a new world. Not a new world that's already built. I've said this before. This is an ongoing journey. And the launch of Stadia in 2019 was never the destination. It's not like a console launch where you launch the console and then that's it. Your kind of work is done. Yeah, done it. I've launched the console. There you are. My work is done. No, it was never that. And I think that's where some of the issues that Google have had in terms of getting it into people's head may have kind of stemmed from. For Google, it was the start of delivering an ongoing vision, a journey. As I said, as founders, we were welcomed on board to be part of that journey. And so, as I said, I think this is where a lot of confusion was derived about Google Stadia launching without a feature set with all its features. They said it would have all these things. Yeah, where are all these things on November 2019? Yeah. Because they never said they would announce of all those features. They were very clear these features would be delivered over time. So this delivering the vision, that they talk about here, this delivering the vision, it's just interesting the language they use. Because I think for many people are still in that console mindset that, when you launch something fully complete. But Google set out a vision of how they would deliver that vision over time. Hence, delivering what they said within the first year. And here we are. This is how they delivered it over the first year. So I just find it, for my sake, I just find it interesting that they use that kind of terminology, delivering the vision. Anyway, enough of that. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, of course, they talk about the sharing of the pie. The sharing of the pie, ladies and gentlemen. So the big sort of announcement, as it were, what you call, is the introduction of this sharing of the subscription revenue. So this is aimed at those titles specifically for Pro. Yeah. So it's about encouraging games to come on Pro. This is an industry leading, say that again, ladies and gentlemen, because Google, to a certain extent, are writing the rules of cloud gaming, not just the cloud gaming technology, but the cloud gaming business model. Yeah. They're pioneers, xCloud are pioneers, Luna are pioneers. So people are writing the business models right now and developing and tweaking it. over time. So this is a leading industry. Their words, an industry leading 70% of the subscription revenue will be funneled back to partners on an engagement basis. And that is actually starting this month, apparently, according to the main chat they did about this, not the introduction bit, but the other main chat. He said that it starts this month. So let's explain that engagement just a little bit more. All someone has to do to register an engagement is they just have to jump into a game on any given day. And that's it. That is an engagement, a single daily engagement. Whether they jump in 7 times a day or they grind it out for 7 hours, do any of that, it just counts as one engagement. It's a single engagement. Yeah. Now, I've seen I've seen a few articles sort of, being a little bit cynical about all this. Well, they're wrong, basically. It's an opinion, but they're wrong, okay? Because one, that misunderstands this engagement mechanism. In fact, I saw a whole Twitter line where a developer came, I'm not sure I like this because it's going to favor such and such. And then about 10 tweets down, somebody pointed out it's based on engagement and what engagement was. And then that developer went, oh, well, that's all right then. And completely flipped. But the point is, by that time, this Twitter line, this Twitter feed had loads of engagement, people going, look, see, developers don't like it. Developers don't like it. But that was all built on a fallacy of a guy who misunderstood what had been said. 20 tweets later was corrected and then just went, oh, I didn't understand. Okay, well, no, that's fine. Yeah. So, yeah, people who are criticizing it, I think they're wrong because it misunderstands the engagement mechanism. Yeah. Maybe they're just lazy and they hear things half-hearted. A half-truth is no truth at all. Or they just get it secondhand. Yeah. Look up your stuff. And second, this isn't just one revenue source for people who, for developers who give their games to pro. It's just one of many mechanisms available, yeah, to increase your revenue streams for a developer. It's not just this is it and that's it, There's different ways to raise revenue. So it's just not a single tool for developers and publishers. These incentives that Stadia have presented here, they need to be taken as a collection, not as a single solution. Yeah, which leads us nicely, ladies and gentlemen, onto the next bit, which was this affiliate marketing. So, make that large so you can see it. Okay. So, and the great thing about this affiliate marketing program aimed specifically at developers and publishers to bring new users into Stadia Pro. Yeah, specifically into your Stadia Pro game. Yeah. And the idea is that moving? So let's just check. Right. The idea is the developers and the publishers get paid when subscribers convert to paying Stadia Pro members. Yeah. It's a $500 minimum, not maximum, minimum. So I think they have to earn about $500 before they get paid out. That's the way I understood that. Now, this is aimed specifically, as I say, at Stadia Pro games. So if you're an indie and your title is a pro game, you not only get a share of that you not only get a share of that 70% subscription pot based on engagement, yeah, you also get affiliate earnings every time you drive somebody to the game. So if you market your game as being a pro game, you get additional revenue source. This is a win-win. This is a win-win for Stadia because basically you've got companies marketing Stadia for you. Yeah. Because it means the developer will go out to promote the fact that their game is now on Stadia. That's free marketing. That's the genius about it. Yeah. And it's costing them like $10 out of a long run subscription. That is a real low rate at which to garner. That's no money really, marketing money wise, to garner new subscribers. So it's a great return on their investment. So just to be clear, this is different from your normal click to play link. It's going to be it'll be a specialized link with sort of cookies in it, I guess, as you do with referral links, which has built-in tracking and all of that. Now, remember, Google is a data company. So the other great thing about this is it allows them to track it, analyze it, allows the developers and publishers to analyze as well where they're getting the games. They talk about how, you know, as a developer or publisher, you can try the link out on different social media platforms to see which one gets you the most engagement. So there's a whole data analytics value to this as well, not just a revenue one as well. Once again, no other game platform does this or even can do this because of the unique element of the click to play. This is what I'm talking about, Stadia being pioneers in this business model. Yeah, this works so seamlessly. Stadia is setting the benchmark and are pioneers in the cloud gaming business. Just as they were the first to offer true AAA gaming, yeah? Really, in the modern age, via the cloud. As they mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, via their Project Stream and their, you know, ability to play Assassin's Creed Odyssey on there during that initial pilot. Now, this subscription element starts the first half of 2022. Now, I have a theory about this. I think the reason for this is I think they probably have all the pro games sorted and deals already in place for the whole of this year. So, and probably into next year as well. But I just think all the deals are probably signed up for this year. So it's no good introducing it this year, that affiliate element to it this year. So probably it's just a theory I have. So this will start with the deals that they're doing for pro games after the current set of pro deals that they have in place. You have to remember that Stadia are just thinking of pro games month. They're not just thinking of pro games month by month. They have this already planned out. They talked about, you know, the 200 odd 400 games in development over 2 years and how 2021 was already sorted and they were well into 2022. So we know they've got loads of games already lined up for pro and things like that. So they're planning way, way ahead. And that's the exciting thing, ladies and gentlemen. That's the exciting thing. Next up, what was next up, ladies and gentlemen? So, specifically aimed more here at game sales. So there was a lot of concentration there on the pro element. And I think Jack Buser or John Justice, in an interview before, I forget which one, but before Christmas, said how they were concentrating more on bringing more value to pro. I think the feedback from the community is they love pro. So I think that's why all those initial incentives that we went through and business models are aimed very much at building up the pro side of things. But of course, they're not neglecting the sales, the game sales side of things. And they're offering here transactional revenue sharing is changing to an 85%, 15% split for the first $3 million on Stadia revenue for titles launching from October the 1st to the end of 2023. Yeah. Just at the back, if you're not listening, yeah. The end of 2023. Yeah. Because obviously that's when Stadia shuts down. Yeah. End of 2023, doesn't it? Anyway, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, so there we go. So they're aiming at, you know, they're kind of bringing it in line with the really competitive offers that are out there at the moment. Epic are doing, competitive offers and stuff like that. And so that's really kind of good to see. And the fact that this model is way into late 2023 and beyond. This is all about multi-paths to revenue on Stadia. And this is why the business of a sub and or store is so great. Not just for consumers, but also publisher developers. Yeah. And this is why I struggle. I never get how people don't like the Stadia business model, or they don't understand it, or they just dismiss it. Yeah. Now, I think the reason people just dismiss the Stadia business model is because it doesn't fit nicely into their simplistic mindset. Yeah. I think it's because it's not simple enough for them. Bless their little minds. A simple Netflix for games is an easy concept. Yeah, it's an easy concept. I get that. Anything outside of that is too difficult for my brain to understand or comprehend. I get the Netflix, but I can't combine two things in my head at once. But have I said loads of times on this channel, if you have a straight sub-service like Luna, yeah, you don't get to play the AAA games day and date. Yeah, unless you're subscribing, specifically Ubisoft Plus, but you don't get to play Doom Eternal day and date when it launches, if that's what you want to do. You don't have that option. You don't get to play Cyberpunk day and date. You don't get to play Hitman 3 day and date. You don't get to play Little Nightmares 2 slightly earlier than day and date. You don't get to play Resident Evil 8 Village day and date if you wanted to. Yeah. Or if you decide you only want to play FIFA each year. Yeah. And that's it. And you're not interested in subbing. You have that choice. And to me, that's what makes the business model so interesting. So, ladies and gentlemen, close that down. So Stadia, overall, they presented the what. What is Stadia? What it's all about. Just reminding everybody what Stadia is all about. Yeah, they presented that bit. And the potential of 100 million endpoints plus. 100 million plus endpoints where people could play on mobile phones, on tablets, iOS, smart TVs. So they said what Stadia is. They told the potential reach. Then they explained the why. Why should you come to Stadia? The business incentive and why you want your games on Stadia. Yeah. And then they went to the how, ladies and gentlemen. The how. Now, developing for Stadia. When they closed Stadia Games and Entertainment, they clearly rechanneled some of these resources to the development tools and certification process. When we think of development, we tend to only ever think of the sexy creative roles, the sort of creative designer, the producer, the game designer, the Jade Raymond's and, all of that. But development is reliant on a lot of sort of technology, tech know-how, an understanding of the sort of engines, an understanding of the QA processes, the development engines. Stadia Games and Entertainment will have had many personnel with those backgrounds who they probably found and redirected to work on this next bit. Now, I can see how they probably found lots of positions for some of the sort of more techie development roles in helping the focus on developing the tools and processes necessary to make getting games on Stadia much, much easier. So I just think it was, it's interesting there. I think some of the people from Stadia Games and Entertainment who had that kind of technical process and delivering games expertise could well have helped towards developing the sort of next bit, the next tools and the next part of the presentation. So we had the what. Well, what is Stadia? We had the why should you be on Stadia? How do you get on Stadia? This is the next bit, the how, ladies and gentlemen, the how. So they talked about here simplified certification. They talked about a test hub, improving the test hub for games, decoupling the process of publishing and development, yeah, and improving the engine. So Google clearly listened to their partners. They looked at the pinch points, like any good company should. They looked at the data and they refined the process. Remember I said earlier, the launch of Stadia was never a destination. It was the start of a journey, of that journey. And the elements of journey are being about constantly refining and improving and learning as you go. Again, in helping developers and publishers get their games onto Stadia, they are not just concentrating, ladies and gentlemen, they're not just concentrating on one area. Not at all. Yeah. They've simplified the certification process. They've created a more friendly sort of test hub, so easier to do your Q&A processes. They've decoupled the publishing and development parts, as I said, so that your publishing team can concentrate on getting all the assets ready to publish the game. Yeah, while the development team can concentrate on refining the game and making sure and going through the QA process. They've improved on the engine improvements, as I said before, streamlining the process of big game engines like Unity and Unreal, but also for custom engines. A lot of engines are built and sort of bespoke off the back of Unity and Unreal, so have their own elements to them. They're striving this process, or they're striving to make this process as turnkey as possible, as simple as possible. Kind of go in one end, turn a key, literally comes out the other end. It's never going to be quite as simple as that, but they're trying to make the process as simple as possible. And this is particularly true when they talk about focusing on importing DirectX files and no longer having to rebuild those assets in Vulkan, etc. A turnkey solution changes everything and makes those investment decisions, yeah, the time, the resources that are required to port an existing game to Stadia over the return on the costs that you might get for doing that, it makes that decision a lot more easier for publishers and developers. Yeah. If they're not having to spend that investment time in porting the games or bringing the games or in getting the games certified or having to test those games, if that's taking up less man hours, less investment and cost, then your return on investment will be higher. And suddenly, that whole process becomes much more worthwhile. So you can see it's sort of a real interesting multi-pronged attack. Let's have a look here. What's this one here? I've got another little slide here, ladies and gentlemen. Oh yeah, and then finally, for new developers, new to the game here, Stadia, they just basically took you how easy it is. You apply, company review, prioritization, Stadia outreach, game info collection, pitch review, next steps established, closed. Yeah, they showed the sort of the process of becoming a Stadia developer. Yeah, so not just via the Stadia makers and anything like that, but the sort of the process they go on. I'm not going to go into massive detail because it gets quite technical, but the sessions are still available if you're interested. I highly recommend you check them out because it's all very clearly presented and well presented, quite frankly. And it's clear, ladies and gentlemen, it's clear. Just take that down. It's clear that Stadia have been working on and focusing on this. And anecdotally, we've heard developers say the process has already improved anyway. You've had the creative director of Death Carnival say how things become more straightforward when asked. John Forscars Gaming did an interview with him. And he said, yeah, initially it was difficult porting to Stadia, but now it's no different than anything else, really. And even Stadia themselves, they did a quote from IO Interactive. Little quote from IO Interactive. Over the past year and a half, the back end improved drastically. Yeah, echoing the thoughts of the creative director of Def Carnival, allowing for even more freedom of approach and flexibility, which is what every publisher and developer needs. And that is from the operations manager, yeah, the non-sexy role in the game development of IO Interactive, ladies and gentlemen, of IO Interactive. So, you know, they're listening. Yeah. And now the whole process is going to get even more easier than that. And it was a great presentation, clearly laid out and structured, a very combined strategy. It's not just a strategy, a business strategy. It's not just a technology engineering strategy. It's not just a marketing strategy. It's on every level, the business, the tech, and even the marketing, because they talked about the marketing that they're doing with Lenovo, AT&T, and a few others, major marketing campaigns where they're giving away Pro. So that's why, you might be interested in getting your game onto Pro, because some people are getting Pro for 6 months, yeah, with AT&T or Lenovo or whatever. So if they start playing your Pro game and having interactions, daily interactions with it, that's money, baby. That's money. And what is really cool about all of this, what's really cool about it is that they're using Stadia only features. Yeah. Only Stadia can do this as a way for developers to promote their games. And as I said before, this is absolutely great because it's the best way, I think, to get people to use Stadia. Advertising Stadia itself, I don't think, is the best way to get people to play Stadia. Bear with me here. But advertising and marketing games people want to play and then giving them near instant access to those games like FIFA 22 or Madden 22 just through a click of a button, and that access being available on even more devices, that is how you get people to play Stadia. Not by advertising Stadia, but by advertising and making it easy to access the games on Stadia, the big games that everybody wants. Think about those numbers and the potential. Have a publisher market their game being available to play on all the devices you already own instantly. That's what sells Stadia, not Stadia itself. The Stadia-specific tools like Click to Play are great marketing and research data collecting tools for the publishers, and also a great way to get players to return to a game when you, as a publisher, add new DLC. Say, look, we've added new DLC. Here's a link. Jump in now and play, new DLC for Borderlands 3. Click here, play straight away. And then if it's a pro game, you're registering engagement days, which means you're increasing your share of that 70% of the subscription pot. Brilliant. Ka-ching. This is all another added bonus. It creates a virtuous circle, ladies and gentlemen. That's the key thing. Everybody helping everybody else. Nice little slide for that as well, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are. A virtuous game of promotion. Yeah, Click to Play promotions, drive engagement, Stadia Pro revenue share. Click to Play promotions, drive engagement, Click to Play promotions. A nice little virtuous circle going round and round, ladies and gentlemen. And then I said this is all then backed up with marketing for Stadia Pro. These big giveaways. They're working with YouTube Premium. They're working with Google One. And a few other Google things as well in-house for added promos, giving away longer Stadia Pro deals. They're working with AT&T, as I said, Lenovo, giving away Stadia Pro for those. So there's never been a better time to get your game on Stadia Pro and then start marketing the hell out of that game. I could go on. Yeah, I could go on, ladies and gentlemen. But as Doc Dark says, yeah, Doc Dark, those who know him, There's layers to this, baby. There's layers to this. Yeah. There's so much depth to the presentation, and it really leverages the unique Stadia features. This is very much the sort of seed planting time, yeah, the seed planting process. We won't see the fruits of this strategy really until next year. We may not even notice it, as it will sort of be a gradual blossom rather than a sudden rash of games. And we just won't even notice. But I'm confident this will make a massive difference. And it is one, what they said they were setting out to do back in February, and two, absolutely the right strategy, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what you think in the chat and all of that. Anyway, let's get back on to some of the more the news, the more mundane news. Quick, maybe not on such oh dear, no, I've lost my thing. 1 second. Lost the link. Not so brilliant news. Not so brilliant news here. Press statement, ladies and gentlemen. Press statement from Ubisoft. Boo! Ubisoft changes release schedule of Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Extraction and Riders Republic. Riders Republic and Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Extraction will now be respectively released October the 28th. So that's Riders Republic. That's a month late. But a bit longer than that, actually. Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Extraction won't be till January 22. So, not brilliant. But in fairness, Riders Republic's only going to be a month late. And we've got great games coming up anyway. So, but that's a shame. But, you know, we'd rather they release a good game. So, yeah. Unfortunate about that. Not too bad, I think. You're going to wait probably 2 months. Actually, it's 2 months you'll wait for Riders Republic, because it was due to come out the 2nd of September, and now it's come out the end of October, so that's roughly 2 months. But the longer gap there is Rainbow Six Extraction, and Rainbow Six Siege is so good. I was looking forward to that. But hey, you never know. Defiant might come out before then. Which would be interesting and exciting if that's the case. So again, let me know in the chat what you think about that. The other thing, ladies and gentlemen, is Threader. We talked about this before on the channel. This is this so-called AAA game from Sri Lanka. A developer in Sri Lanka, based on Sri Lankan myths and legends and those sort of things. And Bryant on the Nerf Report did a thing about this a few months ago, and I followed up with some more stuff on it as well. But looks like they've released another trailer. So Bryant did a thing about this where he noticed they had a Stadia on their initial trailer. Well, they've done another trailer. And again, at the end of that trailer, it mentions Stadia. And also, it now mentions a launch date of 17th of December 2021, ladies and gentlemen, with a Stadia logo there. So, looks like could be quite an exciting game. They are a newish developer, so we don't know, you know, what it's going to be like. And these are very much sort of your promo sort of cutscenes, movie scenes and stuff like that. There's no sense of gameplay, but they've certainly got big ambitions for it. So it'll be interesting. And the Stadia logo is there at the end, but in fairness, virtually every logo's there. I think they're releasing it in VR as well. But yeah, it does look like, unless they've just stuck every logo on there for the hell of it, it does look like this game is coming to Stadia. They claim it as a sort of a God of War, which is a big statement to make, like a God of War type thing, but built around Sri Lankan legends and myths and things like that, and ancient Sri Lankan folklore and fighting styles. But anyway, let me know what you think. It certainly looks very interesting. That, ladies and gentlemen, is Threader. Just show you at the end so you can see. I'll try and catch it there. Return of, oh, and the other thing, there we are, Stadia. You can't quite see it. Let me make it big and just so you know I'm not lying. There we are. You can see Stadia logo there. See what I mean? They put Windows, PS5, Xbox, Oculus, Vive. They've just stuck everything on it. Anyway, coming on the 17th of December, according to this. So it'll be interesting. And also, one thing to mention, it's meant to be part of a trilogy. So they've got bold ambitions. Whether they can pull it off is another thing, but it looks very exciting. I'll give you that. Let's have a quick look at last week's community blog. Why not? So, FIFA 22, we mentioned that last week, available now for pre-orders with hypermotion and all of that. Streets of Rage 4 is now available, released last week. Let me know if you've got Streets of Rage 4 and whether you like it and what's, you know. Plus, Marvel Avengers on sale, which if you're going to get it, might be worth getting it now because 40% off the original retail price because the Black Panther DLC is coming. And that is going to be well worth it. And Orcs Must Die, Last Chance, Stadia Pro. Last chance to get it. So that was the blog post, ladies and gentlemen. Not a lot there, but Streets of Rage 4, good to see. Very excited about that. I've got here now, possible new game from Ubisoft. I think we did that. Right, and finally, ladies and gentlemen, have a quick look. I've already got that open, actually. I don't need that. Oh, no, I do. I closed it. So just a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, that the Summer Community Championship goes on. As I mentioned earlier, week 2 is starting and it's Pixel Raiders. So again, utilizing the unique Stadia features, Pixel Junk Raiders, will be based on estate share. If you go to stadiahunters.com, click on the Summer Championship, you'll see there, and the estate share is there available. And again, it's a timed thing as well, but with points. Rescue all the Tantalian. You get 10 points per rescue. I think there are 11 in the level. Survive as much as possible. Minus 10 for every life lost. Kill 100 of the little alien creatures. You get a bonus of 20 points. If you manage to go through the whole thing without getting touched and losing any health, get a bonus of 10 points. And the fastest time will be the tiebreaker. You can sign up on the site. And again, you have to live stream it. Again, using the unique functionality of Stadia direct to YouTube streaming. And then that means content creators can take your stream and then restream it live and commentate on your kind of action activity. And for me, it works so well on Hitman. I just wish more people watched some of those things and played and took part. It's so exciting. And again, first prize for winning the Pixel Junk Raiders challenge, $100. Second prize, $50. First prize as well. Not only that, you go straight through to the grand final with an opportunity to win $1,000, ladies and gentlemen, $1,000. So stadiahunters.com, check it out. Make sure you check that out. Give it a go. Take on the challenge. It gets very addictive doing the challenge, I must admit. And seeing people do the Hitman challenge was just brilliant, hilarious, awe-inspiring, all of that. I have no doubt the Pixel Junk Raiders challenge will be equally as awe-inspiring even as well. Right, ladies and gentlemen. Why don't we go to chat, ladies and gentlemen? See what you guys have been chatting about. I've just moved the thingy there, but never mind. Right. Let's go to chat. Right. See what you guys have been talking about. I was doing a lot of talking there, a lot of... there we go. Right. I have to scroll back. I was concentrating so much on all the epic news and stuff like that. Oh, Yoshida, never said hello to Yoshida. Oh, there we are. Look, I knew I'd moved that down. Let's just get that. Arigatou gozaimasu. Konbanwa. Here's what's cool. Everyone complains Stadia didn't have certain games that have been out before. Stadia now look and see Stadia getting games that's coming out after Stadia. What now? Look and see Stadia getting games coming out after Stadia. Yeah, I think you'll find. I still think we'll get a lot of fresh new games. But I think what you'll get is some of the kind of classic long-running games that are older ones, probably. Yeah, we do, Dominic. We just need a big battle royale. But this is a good start. This is a good start. Yeah, absolutely. Has a huge... Hey. I'm there with you, Dom, of course. What about me? What's an ultra? It's like an ultimate. So each character will have like a special skill or kind of thing that builds up over time. And when it builds up, you kind of hit, like in Overwatch, for instance, you have a special skill or power. You can't use it all the time, but it builds up. And then when you've sort of built up enough energy or whatever it is, hit Y or whatever you're playing on keyboard or whatever you do, hit Y on your controller, whatever, and then you can launch that ultimate and it'll be a special skill. So you saw how like they put defensive things around them, or there was a sort of a cannon you could put down and plant and it fired off or whatever like that. So things like that. I think that's what it is, an ultra. It's like an ultimate. Some games might call it an ultimate, some call it an ultra, whatever. I think that's what it is. Yes, there we are. Dominic just said it in a much simpler form. Thank you, Dominic. Yeah. It's like a special ability. That's what it is. But you can't use it all the time. You probably have to sort of store up energy or whatever it is, and then you can release it at the optimum time. And it's often used to like clinch a level. You know, if you ever watch, I used to watch the Overwatch championships, and you know, they'd build up their levels. They'd stay back, not get into too much trouble, and each character would build up their levels, and then they'll be the team would be communicating with each other, and then just at the right moment they would combine all their special abilities all at once and then obliterate the opposing team, who, if wise and were using a good strategy, would have built up all their ultimates as well to defend it. But used tactically, it can be really clever if you use it as a team and build up all your ultimates or your special abilities at once and then apply them strategically. Anyway. Yes, of course, Dom. Animal Royale, yeah. You know, there's so many games that are coming and we completely forget about. And they're coming over the next few months. Animal Royale is not far away. We talked about that, yeah. Polygon was my source. Emmanuel says, even I say how it worked like Destiny. Yeah, free to play. Do you mean the free to play, or do you mean the team based? You know, it's like capture the flag, escort the vehicle, dominate areas. So a bit like Destiny, I guess, where you dominate A, B, and C area and things like that. Those sort of classic sort of 6x6 team based things. Yeah. No. I spoke about it on Sounds of Stadia, David. It's not for me. I understand it is for some people. If you've got a massive Steam collection and you're into PC gaming and you want to take your massive Steam collection with you, great, knock yourself out. But for me, it's like wanting to take your record collection with you. Yeah, there's a market for that. Some people I like listening my music as in lossless form. I don't like MP3s. I like to listen to my music in lossless form on my £4,000 lossless, digital player. And now I've got a portable one, and that'd be really cool. Whereas most of us are quite happy just streaming our music from the cloud and not carrying around extra gear. As I said on the Sounds of Stadia, if you need another bag to carry your kit, you've got too much kit, yeah? But I understand there's a market for it. I just think it's quite a niche market. I also think it's a very short-term market. You know, if I was Steam, I'd be working on my cloud solution personally, because within 5 years, I think it'd just be a bit redundant, and you're just going to have a bit of redundant kit. But I know people love new tech, even though it's going to be out of date tech within a couple of years. And, you know, that's fine. Just not for me. So whilst I'm dismissing it, I'm dismissing it on a personal user case basis. I understand there are nerds who have massive Steam libraries. Fair enough. Knock yourself out. Just not for me personally. I just don't get it. And that's why I sort of slightly tongue-in-cheek say it's like somebody launching an MP3 player. To me, it's just a personal view. Dave Widnall talking about on Luna. I add it to all the channels. You can just play it on any sub. Yeah, it should be free to play. And as I say, it could be a lost leader for Luna. Get people in the door. Yeah, I think it's a very special, said no, I think it's a very special user case. And that just happens not to be my case. But I understand it. But yeah, it's just another piece of kit. You know, play on the devices you already own. Not buy another piece of kit. Anyway. It's like a stopgap between cloud becoming fully embraced. That's how I sort of see it. If they'd released it any later, I think it'd be even more redundant technology. But that's just my view. It's just my review. That's all I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. But yeah, I get you, Dave. Just, it's a bit old school for me personally. That's all. Add a backbone controller, use your phone. That's my thinking, Lloyd, yeah? Or a, you know, a Kishi or whatever, a thing like that, you know? But I get it. I get people have, you know, the same people that why should I get Stadia? I've got all my, you know, I have to buy all the games again. Well, fair enough. Maybe don't have Stadia then if it's not your thing. If you've got a massive Steam library and you play extensively on your PC, maybe Stadia's not for you, and that's fine. Yeah, it's just different user cases, isn't it? Lloyd, I was being, you know, being a bit cheeky, but yeah, and as I stressed here, there's a user case for it. There's clearly a market. I've seen on Twitter loads of people excited about it. So clearly there is a demand or market for it, and I think it fits that niche of people who like new gadgets, who are PC gamers, who have a massive Steam library. Personally, I just think that feels like a small niche, but there's a market there. And that's a big market, obviously, to, you know, from Steam's point of view, they're looking at it and they've made that investment. So, yeah, I get it. But it's just, for me, it just has no appeal. And also, I think it looks a bit ugly, to be honest. There's no design aesthetic to it. Yeah, there's nothing. It just leaves me totally cold. That's all. I understand how people are excited about it. I get that. But personally, as a user case, looking at it from a design perspective, aesthetically, all of that just leaves me cold. That's all. That's all. Yeah. Not for everyone, but as you say, there's something for everyone. And then we end, yeah, data collection, of course, is the new key. Of course it is. Always has been. Exactly. That's Alex Billy here saying, put your game on day, make a bunch of money, then go to the store, get 35%. Sorry, 85% of your first 3 mil. Nice. Well, as I said before, people don't get it. I don't think you realize when you look from outside and don't really pay attention, I don't think people realize that if it was a subscription only model, then you wouldn't get the excitement of playing FIFA 22 when it launches, or Cyberpunk when it launches, like everybody else, or have that option. And I just think it's such a good option. It's such a good option For consumers, yeah, you get to build a massive library of already 80 odd plus games worth $2,300. Apparently each game averages out at $25 per game in Pro. That's such good value, and that your library is only going to grow and will always be there for you. Even if you stop subbing, go away, come back, it'll always be there for you. It's only ever going to grow. But if that's not your thing and you just want to buy 2 or 3 big games a year and grind those out, you've got that option. And if you're a developer or publisher, then you've got that appeal. Do we put it on Pro? We can do both. You know, your game, remember when a game comes to Pro, it is also available to buy for people who aren't Pro members. So you get 2 revenue streams. Well, you get more than that, because if you're Pro, you're earning through multiple revenue streams. But let's count that as one big pot of revenue stream. But also people who aren't Pro might want to buy your game. So then you're getting your 85%. So it's appealing for developers and publishers. And I think it was Jack Boose who said this in an interview, that they found, or again, was it John Justice? And I get muddled up. In their chats with publishers and developers, they said they liked the versatility of both models. But people don't get it, and it annoys me. I don't understand. Fair enough. Yeah. I think it was interesting. I talked about that Twitter conversation with the developer who was sort of slightly worried. And I've seen some game analysts who I think, again, are wrong. They're just taking one slither of what's being offered and then saying, oh, we're not sure it'll mean, will it change the way people developers make their games to suit that business model? And they're ignoring all the other transactional streams, the revenue streams. You've got to take it as a whole. And this is from a game analyst, Piers Harding Roll, whatever his name is. And I just thought, you're just looking at one element. It's not going to change the way people develop their games. The market as a whole and the direction that goes changes the way people, everybody wants free to play battle royale with loot boxes. The industry as a whole changes the direction, not just one business model within Stadia when there are multiple revenue stream potentials. But anyway, there you go. But it is exciting. So in that Twitter stream, the developer, when he realized, actually understood the principle of an engagement day, completely flipped and thought, oh, wow, actually, that sounds really cool as a developer. It'll be interesting to see, we'll never know what difference it makes, because we never, we'll never know. We won't know. It's like Schrodinger's cat. We'll never know what might have happened had they not done that, compared to what is going to happen now they've done it, if that makes sense. So we might not even notice. We just might think, wow, we get lots of games. Do you know what I mean? It just might grow not organically, but like sort of blossom over time. And then you suddenly look back and go, wow, look at the size of my Pro library. Enormous. And that's what I really like about Dominic. It's such integrated thinking. It's utilizing the things that are unique to Stadia to market and make money and encourage developers and publishers to come to Stadia. These unique tools are not just for the consumers. They're also for the publishers and developers, for the business side. It's so brilliantly thought out, in my view. It makes me exciting. I wonder, with Stadia, with all these delays, we'll release more games this year than last year's record. Well, yeah, some games are, it's the games that are pushed out to 2022. Some of them have just been delayed into this year, so you might catch up on Concertina. They may well bring some games forward, you never know. But I think the impact of a few games sort of shifting their delivery pattern will be a lot less significant than, say, it was at the beginning in the first 6 months of 2020 for Stadia, when you had Doom Eternal, like, move from its original delivery date. We all thought initially was going to be December 2019. Would have been perfect showcase for Stadia. First month of its launch. Didn't happen. So that was a bit of a rubbish situation. Cyberpunk was what? Meant to be February, March time. That never happened. Although in the long run, it turned out to be an absolute doozy for Stadia coming day and day. So there are a few delays that had more of an impact, I think, on the impression of Stadia in that first 6 months. Whereas these delays, I think, will have less of an impact because there's so many games coming. Oh, I saw something interesting when I've just gone by now. Someone saying about, yeah, Eli. Solder is the GOAT. It was an incredible time he set on his Hitman thing. Incredible. It was great to see. And I think that was his first run, or he certainly did like a 343 on his first run, which is extraordinary. He couldn't quite get to it again. And you did really well to get close. I know you just your times just came down and down and down. It has to be so perfect, that run. Everything hit. Did you hit on your time? I think it was a 3-minute 43, Eli. Did you hit the virus first time? Switch ain't going anywhere, says Lloyd. No, so popular. It is. That is a bold statement. No question about it. They're being very bold. And why not? Everyone else is about the game. But there's a lot of unknowns. We've not seen any gameplay, anything like that. There's a lot of cinematics. I'd want to see a proof of concept if I was investing in it. I'd say, do me a level. Yeah. Build me out a level. Here's some money. Build me a level. Show me the gameplay, how it'll function. Yeah. Oh, play on the devices you already own. A battle pass for Pro. Yeah, well, they've got to make them, yeah. It'll be interesting to see, because it's free to play. I guess I wonder what you'd be buying. Points, coins, skins. Yeah. Did Ubisoft's new free game for Stadia get mentioned? What, today in this show? Yeah, did you come in late, Victor? Mention it. I spent most of the show warbling on about it. Or did you say, did it get announced? Well, it did get announced, so there we go. There's a new sheriff in town. Yeah, Marcus, yeah. Well, the business model's got to adapt and change to the new, you know, in the same way the TV business model and the music industry is a prime example back in the day, hasn't it? Into a streaming and engagement, in a way, has an engagement mechanism in it. And the artists, and controversially, you know, artists don't say they get enough, but they effectively get a share of the engagement on the streaming site. So, you know. 126 games in my Stadia library. Yeah. Not all pro. I think there are about 80 odd pro games, aren't there? But yeah, I've never had so many games. It's amazing that, you know, on a console, I've never owned so many games. And the fact that they're all there, I don't have to take stuff off and all that kind of stuff. So, hello, Jerry. Catch up later. Second shot. Oh, you see? Second shot, Eli. There's a second. And then how long does it take to drop the lady off the edge of the roof? That could be a pain. That could be a pain. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, 'tis a bargain. $10 a month. Each game worth $25, and you're getting 3 to 4 games every month. That is value. Exactly. But it's just making sure everybody gets their fair share. Bookshelves already full. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I think, a great show there. So much. It's so exciting. What an exciting week. And it's only Monday. It's only Monday, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully there'll be a blog post tomorrow and there'll be some other stuff in that. So, exciting times. Roll on the exciting times, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, everybody, for being here tonight. I really, really appreciate it. As ever, hit the likes. And if you're new here, do me the massive favor. Arigatou gozaimasu. Hit the subscribe button. Toggle the notification bell so you know when I go live with content like this. Everybody have a wonderful, wonderful week. Enjoy yourself. Make sure you check out the Stadia Community Championship. Have a go at the Pixel Junk Raiders Challenge. You never know. You might be really good at it and then enter. Why not enter? StadiaHunters.com, remember, everybody. Have a good one. And I'll see you around, everybody, very, very soon. Thank you. Arigato.